everyone! I'm super happy to be back. I was a bit busy this week. I have a deadline coming up, but finally we are down with some book reviews, and today we are gonna review Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. But before anything starts, we have to remind you that my blog post linked to this video is in the descriptions down below, so don't forget to check it out and to tell me what you think about it, to subscribe to the blog and like it. And now, without any further ado, let's get down with the review. The title, it started on my phone. The title is one that I listened to on audiobook. I chose this one as my free book for the free trial. I wanted to listen to this book or read this book for a very long time, and I finally ended up reading it. And there are a lot of things that I have to say about the book. If you are not familiar with what the plot is, it's basically talking about the son of the President of the United States, that is a bisexual boy that falls in love with the Prince of England that happens to be gay, and they start a hidden relationship that comes out in the end. So they have to come to terms with not only starting the relationship and experiencing new things, but also how to deal with the relationship in front of the media, cameras and public life in general. And I think the overall book, how it was written, was classic, normal, easy writing, not stunningly written. It was nice. What I thought was most interesting about the book was the topics it was treating, because obviously representation was very present in this book, because not only the President of America in this novel is a woman, her son is Mexican, and so there is this whole cool representation of people that are underrepresented, and the President of America finally is not a white man, which has been and is still and does not change. But it's very nice to envision a life where that is possible, and the whole way that they deal with the issues of race and the issues of being gay in such a context is really interesting, because it comes into play with the crown and what the crown wants, and the accepting this prince that is gay as well. And so the family has a bit of opposition, not all of it, but especially the queen. So the prince's grandmother has a bit of a strong opposition to it, because she wants to keep it up for the looks and for everything, and it just comes out that it's basically not the country's will, but it's her specific will, because she doesn't want people to know, and she doesn't want to stop that perfect image of everyone and everything being good. So I really thought this was really interesting. Another thing that I thought to be really good and interesting in the book were the secondary characters that were not put just there because they had to be there, but they were interesting, they had a personality, they were useful to the main character, so they had a sense, they made sense, but they also had private lives and stuff that you felt they had outside the story. So I really liked everything as it was. I talked about how good the secondary characters were to me, but the primary characters, the protagonists, were a bit of a problem. I gave the book a high rating because I understood the power it could have in delimiting good values, but I completely agree with the YouTuber Caoihimhe, I hope it's pronounced right, because she makes a critique on how the main characters are, which I completely agree with. It's very stereotypical, and I also think they're very privileged, so that was something that I thought while reading, that they are representing people that are gay, but they're representing them in an environment that is super privileged, because you're talking about the house of the president and the Prince of England, so those people have massive audiences. They don't have to fight with massive lack of approval, because there will always be thousands and thousands of people approving of them. So that is very different from a life of someone that maybe has only their parents don't approve of their relationship, and they end up not having a family to count on because their parents don't accept their sexuality. So that was a bit something that I nicked with. And also it's true what the YouTuber says, that they are very stereotyped. So Henry is super beautiful, super Prince Charming like, and the other one is effectively very much into cursing, very much too much, and I didn't really like that about them. I like the concept behind them, but not them as how they were developed. I just thought that the ability to accept their sexuality and decide to go out with it and face the world with it was something powerful that could help people, but they are not the best role models for that, for sure. And also I agree with what was said in the video of Caoihimhe about the political background of the whole story, because it is true. The whole story was based on Democrat vs Republicans and puts down the Democrats as the holy grail of goodness, which is not at all the case, and the issues treated are very complicated, and that is very simplistic, because as we have seen now in America, the Democrats are on, but they made a whole mess with Afghanistan and retrieving the troops, and so that is very selfish, very businesslike, very much against what is advocated for in the book. And Caoihimhe was also reflecting on people that do not stand by the ideals that are narrated in the book, and that, I think that for me was not a problem, because I think that in a book, even though maybe you are not agreeing with the main ideals, you still, if you take a stand, you can stand by it, and if people don't agree, well, that's their problem. So I thought that was okay for me. But effectively, yeah, the inclusivity in the book was not the greatest. So that's why in my original rating, I gave it a 3 out of 5. And I stand by it because the main characters were a bit of a disappointment, but the background premise and everything else was really good. So I think that if you're struggling with identity, if you're struggling with accepting who you are and struggling with your sexual identity especially, that is something that you can really work on, and you can work through with the book, together with the book. And I also think that it features the passion and intensity of the beginning of a relationship, which is good. So that I thought was appropriate. But yeah, I definitely agree with Caoihimhe with her review, and she gave it 1 star. I never give 1-star reviews to my books because I honestly think that, I don't know, a minimum of 2-star is what I give. I decided that I don't wanna, I don't know, for some reason bash on authors unless they really wrote something that was so shitful that I wasn't able to get through it, which didn't happen for now, but with some books that I've read, I'm very much on the edge of giving a 1, but I never did it so far, but we will see. So I really hope that this rounds it out for you, and if you're interested in reading the book, please leave it down in the comments below. I would be super interested to know.